the Tesla Model Y has undoubtedly been a resounding success. By far the most dominant electric crossover from a sales perspective, the Model Y is now on track to become the world's best-selling car. Speaking at Tesla's annual shareholders meeting, CEO Elon Musk claimed the Model Y will be the world's best-selling vehicle from a revenue perspective this year. Furthermore, Musk stated that the Y will be the world's number one vehicle when it comes to overall sales volume in 2023. Currently, the Toyota Corolla is the world's highest-selling vehicle. Approximately 1,150,000 were sold last year. For comparison, Tesla as a whole sold 936,222 vehicles in 2021. However, the firm is rapidly increasing sales volume each year and is on track to sell over 1.3 million cars in 2022. And that's despite ongoing supply chain issues. When such problems are alleviated, and Giga Texas and Giga Berlin are running at full capacity, it is quite plausible that the Model Y could become the world's best-selling vehicle by overall volume. The Model E's continued sales success is even more remarkable when you consider how expensive it is. Never before has a $70,000 car sold roughly 150,000 units per quarter. Tesla only gives combined Model 3 Y sales figures, so precise Model Y sales are unknown. Moreover, Tesla's decision to exclusively focus Giga Berlin production on the Model Y means European deliveries are being fulfilled at a much faster rate than before. What are your thoughts on the Model Y? Do you think it's worth $67,440? Let us know in the comments section below. Source reposted and summarized from Ben O'Hare at Inside EVS. My take: Elon told us this would happen when the Model Y was first released. Tesla FSD Beta Update 10.69 slated for August 20 release. August 8, 2022. Tesla FSD Beta 10.69 drops on 8/20. Tweeted Elon Musk recently. He was, of course, talking about v.10.13. Following his announcement, Musk reiterated this release will be big. During the 2022 shareholders roundup, he said that version 10.13 was more like 10.69 because drivers will see significant improvements when the update rolls out. 10.13 we've been working on for a while, and actually, what sort of happened is we've made some pretty significant architectural improvements. So it's really gonna be more than 10.12 to 10.13 release. It might. I don't want to speak too soon. It might qualify for 10.69. Musk said. Last month, the Tesla CEO tweeted that users outside of California will notice the improvements to FSD Beta the most. At the shareholders roundup, Musk mentioned that FSD Beta 10.13 would tackle left turns and even Chuck's turn. Leaked release notes of v.10.13 revealed a few more details about the upcoming update. See below. 1. Improved decision-making for unprotected left turns using better estimation of ego's interaction with other objects through the maneuver. 2. Improved stopping pose while yielding for crossing objects at Chuck Cook-style unprotected left turns by utilizing the median safety regions. 3. Made speed profile more comfortable when creeping for visibility, to allow for smoother stops when protecting for potentially occluded objects. 4. Enabled creeping for visibility at any intersection where objects might cross ego's path, regardless of presence of traffic controls. 5. Improved lane position error by 5% and lane recall by 12%. 6. Improved lane position error of crossing and merging lanes by 22% by adding long-range skip connections and a more powerful trunk to the network architecture. 7. Improved pedestrian and bicyclist velocity error by 17%, especially when ego is making a turn, by improving the onboard trajectory estimation used as input to the neural network. 8. Improved animal detection recall by 34% and decreased false positives by 8% by doubling the size of the auto-labeled training set. 9. Improved detection recall of far-away crossing vehicles by 4% by tuning the loss function used during training and improving label quality. 10. Improved the is parked attribute for vehicles by 5% by adding 20% more examples to the training set. 11. Upgraded the occupancy network to detect dynamic objects and improved performance by adding a video module, tuning the loss function, and adding 37K new clips to the training set. 12. Reduced false slowdowns around crosswalks by better classification of pedestrians and bicyclists is not intending to interact with ego. 13 reduced false lane changes for cones or blockages by preferring gentle offsetting in lane where appropriate. 14 improved in-lane positioning on wide residential roads. 15 improved object future path prediction in scenarios with high yaw rate. 16 improved speed limit sign accuracy on digital speed limits by 29%. On signs with difficult relevance by 23%. On 3-digit speeds by 39%. And on speed limit end signs by 62%. Neural network was trained with 84% more examples in the training set and with architectural changes which allocated more compute in the network head. Source reposted and summarized from Maria Morano at Tesla RT. My take: getting closer step by step. Senate passed Inflation Reduction Act. What it means for EVs. August 8, 2022. The U.S. Senate has just passed the $740 billion Inflation Reduction Act, which contains the $7,500 EV credit. The House is set to reconvene from its August recess next Friday, August 12, and will take up the bill then. How it affects EVs and automakers. The bill allocates around $374 billion toward climate and energy spending. It ends per manufacturer limits for the $7,500 tax credit for EV purchases. This is a good thing for American EV manufacturers such as Tesla, General Motors, Ford, and other EV manufacturers will have to make sure that their vehicles are built in North America and end their reliance on China for the EV battery supply chain. The lobbying from these automakers to make changes to the credit didn't work. The bill allowed for a small loophole for GM and other automakers that wish to manufacture EVs outside the US. It seems that as long as their EVs are manufactured in North America, which includes Mexico and Canada, they can still receive benefits even if EVs are not produced in the US. Automakers will need to work with their suppliers to end reliance on China for critical EV battery materials. A great example of how they can do this was laid by Tesla's key nickel supplier, Talon Metals. Yesterday, I spoke with Todd Mallon, Chief External Affairs Officer and Head of Climate Strategy at Talon Metals, who shared his thoughts. Todd pointed out that Tesla and Talon Metals have an offtake partnership. Talon will supply nickel to Tesla from its project in Minnesota. Partnerships across the value chain, he said to me, will be important. Taking a look at how Tesla and Talon described their supply relationship as a partnership indicates Tesla's desire to work with suppliers. Everyone, not just automakers and suppliers, will need to work together. This includes governments. Todd told me how the offtake agreement has helped the community and perception of the project. Having a Tesla offtake agreement in place has changed the perception of our project in the community. It's very credentializing and our employees are proud of the partnership. People clearly understand that our proposed mine has a purpose to supply nickel for the EV battery supply chain and contribute to the energy transition. This has helped shape how people perceive the project. It has a purpose and an important one. Many of the large automakers are helping supply partners apply for some of the significant new funding opportunities being made available through the bipartisan infrastructure bill. The Department of Energy is expected to give out over $1.8 billion in funding from that legislation this fall. This is another example of how the end users can help the front end of the supply chain for battery materials. Source reposted and summarized from John Kreider at Tesla RT. My take: Tesla already has more demand than they can keep up with. I guess this is good for all the other OEMs. Can Tesla reach a $2 trillion market value by 2025? August 8, 2022. Tesla's stock has been polarizing since the automaker first went public. But after touching $1 trillion market capitalization last December, the company has the attention of most investors. As the electric vehicle industry continues to emerge, Tesla's likely to continue to grow. And some even think the automaker could double its previous highs. Some analysts suggest that Tesla could reach a $2 trillion market value by 2025. As reported by The Motley Fool. Although the EV manufacturer is down 12.38% on the year at the time of writing after being down even further for much of the year, long-term bulls are still looking to the future for answers. The Motley Fool attributes Tesla's fallen shares to a broader stock sell-off affecting the whole stock market, and to factory shutdowns and supply chain constraints. Despite these factors, Tesla's Q2 earnings per share still jumped 56.6% year-over-year to $2.27. outpacing average Wall Street expectations by roughly 27%. Additionally, Tesla reported $16.9 billion in increased revenue, up 41.6% year-over-year. To be sure, Tesla had its best production month yet in June, although it faced a major production slump at its Gigafactory Shanghai. While the slump contributed to production and delivery drop-offs of 15.3% and 17.9% from the previous quarter, respectively. These figures increased by 25.3% and 26.5% year-over-year. Tesla's earnings report came as the U.S. reaches a tipping point for mass EV adoption. Allied Market Research expects the global EV market to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 18.2% through 2030. This could place Tesla in a good position going forward, even as competition grows. Analyst data from the S&P Market Intelligence Index predicts Tesla to generate roughly $164 billion in total sales by 2025. This figure would represent a 5-year CAGR of 25.4% from last year's revenue. Currently, Tesla trades at an enterprise value to EBITDA multiple of 55.6. Under the conditions that this figure remains and that Tesla holds an EBITDA margin of 25%. The automaker's annual EBITDA would reach $41 billion by 2025, increasing the company's enterprise value to $2.3 trillion. It's a bit ambitious to say these conditions are likely, but they certainly aren't beyond the realm of possibility. Some bullish analysts are confident that the automaker will eventually surpass the milestone of $2 trillion in market value. Others are more bearish, suggesting that competition could prevent this from happening. As to whether Tesla will reach a $2 trillion market value by 2025, no one can be sure. But with new projects on the horizon like the Optimus robot, Cybertruck and self-driving robotaxis, Tesla may be well poised to maintain its positioning in the coming years. Source reposted and summarized from Peter McGuthrie at Avanex. My take: actually $2 trillion market cap by 2025 is a bit on the low side. I have it at a $3 trillion market cap.